people will up and go mad when they believe their life is over.
In the road!
This other time...
While most zombie video games are concerned mainly with the slaying of zombies, the Walking Dead game focuses on a story that you control. Don't get me wrong, there's plenty of zombie-related violence in The Walking Dead, but the game is not a shooter like Left 4 Dead or an action game like Dead Rising. Hey, come to think of it, I can't think of a zombie game that doesn't feature the word dead in it, outside of Resident Evil. Getting back on point, the Walking Dead game is developed by Telltale, who has been steering the Sam & Max series for the past couple of years, and the recent Jurassic Park adventure game. The Walking Dead is their strongest title yet, and will satisfy both fans of the comic book and the television show, as well as anyone expecting a thoughtful zombie game. The game tells a story that runs concurrently to the storyline from the comic book and television show. You play as Lee Everett, a man convicted of murder. During his ride to prison, the zombie outbreak begins, and he is forced to strike out on his own. Lee comes across a little girl named Clementine. She is all alone, and Lee must look after her. Beyond that, any more story detail would be spoiling it. But I can tell you that Lee will come across multiple groups of survivors, some of whom will carry on to the next installment. As Lee, you have the opportunity through dialogue trees to influence the story by coloring characters' opinions of you and making difficult choices. During many of these dialogue sequences, you will have a time limit, so you must choose your response quickly. This may sound restrictive, but is quite realistic and gives you the opportunity to truly roleplay rather than game the system. Outside of dialogue, Walking Dead has you doing some classical, though modernized adventure puzzles and fending off zombie attacks. The puzzles are what you would expect from a classic adventure game, though they are not reliant on the outdated mechanic of combining items and hoping they work in a situation X, Y, Z. More often than not, the puzzle's difficulty comes through execution. You will know what to do, you just have to figure out how to do it. The one criticism I can lay at the adventure mechanics comes through the user interface, which features tiny gray bubbles that you target to select an action or item. There are times when the corresponding action to solve a situation can seem arbitrary or illogically placed amongst these bubbles. It doesn't weaken the puzzles at all, but it can be a nuisance. The action gameplay is the perfect balance between keeping the gameplay exciting and keeping the narrative at the forefront of the experience. When you are faced with enemies, it is either in a frantic attack in which you must quickly find a weapon and kill them, or a calculated mission of your own in which you are tactically taking them out one by one. When you are attacked, a cursor in the shape of a directional pad will appear in an over-the-shoulder or first-person shot. You have to line up the cursor with your target at the prime moment, which is indicated by the color of the cursor. These combat sequences do a fantastic job of giving you that gnarly response you want when you stick a zombie with an ice pick. It's horrifying and fun. The one gripe I have with the combat will only bother twitchy gamers who need real difficulty. I wish there was a hardcore option that featured no cursors for players who want an extra challenge. I was able to finish the game without dying once, though the focus here is on story. The tactical scenarios are like some blessed hybrid of the frantic combat and the puzzle solving. You just have to experience it for yourself in order to understand how unique and fun it is. Walking Dead's narrative changes as you play it. The choices you make can be as subtle as attitude with a character or as dire as life and death. Every choice you make is meaningful, and if you have the option enabled, the game will display text letting you know when you have altered the story. The presentation in Walking Dead is almost flawless. The writing is brilliant and is extremely well acted. This is true Hollywood-level voice work. The cinematics are equally masterful and really show off the game's unique art style. It looks like a fluid comic book, and when you hear that about a zillion games a zillion times, it loses its meaning. But Walking Dead should be the prime example. The textures look hand-drawn, and there is a subtle cell shading effect similar to what was seen in Darkness 2, though Walking Dead pulls it off far better. Special attention is paid to characters' faces and lip syncing. They really emote, and it helps you lose yourself in the story. Some models in the game can, however, look slightly dated, as they feature a low poly count, though this is never true of the characters. Music and sound effects are a high point as well. The main theme is haunting and will truly stick with you, in a way that great themes do. It's just like the Game of Thrones theme that just won't get out of my head. The Walking Dead is an episodic game. It is being released for the PC, PSN, and XBLA. The PC is my platform of choice, though all the versions are identical. For $25, you can buy a season's pass for all 5 episodes, and that is a hell of a deal. The episodes are about 2 to 3 hours long, and at $5 a pop, you're getting a complete game for less than half the price of a brand new console title. Walking Dead is so good, I prefer the narrative of the game more than the TV show. I put the game story on the same level as the comic book series. I'm starting up my second playthrough right now and eagerly awaiting episode 2. The Walking Dead cannot be missed. It is the true zombie story.
I know who you are, and I know you're a killer.
The world has ended out there. Who cares who I am?
I don't know who these people are. It could be dangerous.
Whoa, take it easy. Just want to help.
You can't.
Think this through.
He's bitten! We gotta throw him out!
I'm gonna kill him, Cat!
You want to get violent, you old fuck? Well, come on!
I don't know who you are or what you did, but you better become a better liar, fast.